Hello viewers, today we will analyze an interesting novel written by Girish Karnad. He does not require any introduction in the modern world of writing. He is among those literati who have donned many roles successfully. He is a contemporary writer, playwright, screenwriter, actor and movie director in Kannada language. He was born in the year 1938 on May 19th, and his rise as a meteor in the world of playwrights in 1960s marked the coming of age of modern Indian playwriting in Kannada. His plays have been translated into several Indian languages and are directed by eminent directors. He is also actively associated with the world of Indian cinema and has contributed immensely as an actor, director, screenwriter both in Hindi and Kannada cinema. He is one of those versatile personalities who has bagged numerous awards along the way. He was conferred with Bharat Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan by the Government of India, and also he won 4 Filmfare Awards. Well, that's a long list of achievement in this, as far as this great playwright is concerned. Karnad uses the conventional customs and motifs of folklore tales and folk theatre. The paraphernalia is huge and it includes masks, curtains, dolls and the layered stories to create a weird and bizarre world. His dramas exhibit the right tone and the right expression. He has an exceptional ability and the power to transform any situation and enrich it with an aesthetic experience. His thrust area is the complexity of human relationships. He is also a subtle critique of modern Indian society. He has addressed many issues in the right blend such as love, identity and sexuality with folk culture and his rich imagination. Now let's try to know more about this interesting play titled Hayavadana. Hayavadana won the Natya Sangh Best Play Award in 1971. The play has various cultural inferences which are relevant even today. The play focuses on the man's eternal search for his own self among a maze of complex relationships. Karnad employs the devices of myth, folklore and history to explore the issue of subjectivity associated with eternal search of man for his own self. He uses these devices to analyze the past, but to look at the present and also to foreshadow the future. He uses myths and history as tools to create a new consciousness of the irrationality of human life with all its passion and conflicts. Hayavadana is a mysterious mythical creation and the word is made up of 2 words where Haya stands for horse or the body and Vadana for man or head. The main reason for the title Hayavadana is that Hayavadana is a complete and evolved character than the other main characters like Devadatta, Kapila and Padmini. He deserves to be called complete and evolved because he is complete at the end of the play and he is the only person who is content with what God has blessed him with and peaceful. Being complete or incomplete is only a matter of one's own perception. Else, how can the animal-headed Ganesha be regarded supreme and the animal-headed Hayavadana be called incomplete? It's a debatable question. Hayavadana is an enigmatic and unfathomable play. One has to really delve deep into the realms of this great play. The subplot of Hayavadana is entirely different from Karnad's invention. In the play, the stories of the subplot throughout supports the main plot. Kirtinath, Kurkoti says Karnad's play poses a different problem, that of human identity in a world of tangled relationships. At one level, the play deals with age-old debate of self, while at another level, it portrays the nation's attempt to break free from the tags of cultural domination imposed by the colonial past. The first one is identifying self becomes the center point of the play, and the second one is it depicts the struggle of a nation to free itself from the tags of cultural supremacy imposed by the colonial past. The play draws liberally from the structure of Yakshagana and weaves many parallel narratives in concentric designs around the central plot. The origin of the play Hayavadana is really interesting and intriguing also. It has its base in the ancient Sanskrit collection of stories Brihat Katha Saritsagara by Somadeva of 11th century. Thomas Mann's The Transposed Head, written in 1955, is based on this play. The play is intergeneric, a folk tale transformed into a novella and then into a play. While the Sanskrit tale poses a moral riddle, Mann uses it to question the logic that holds the head superior to the body. It's a conflict between head and the body, and it is a tough thing to decide whether the head is supreme or the body is supreme. In the Katha Saritsagara, a woman travelling with her husband and her brother discovers the men's beheaded bodies in the temple of Parvati. Goddess Parvati blesses the woman with a boon that instills life in the beheaded bodies. She brings back the two men to life but switches their heads by mistake. The resulting problem of true identity has an explicit solution in this version. The answer given is, since the head represents the man, the person with the husband's head is the husband. Girish Karnad goes one step ahead and weaves his play around the theme of identity in a world of befuddled, tangled relationships. The play tries to separate the mysterious or the esoteric element from the traditional values and concepts and presents multiple viewpoints that promote a dialogue on the basic accepted tenets of life. The beauty of this play is further enhanced by integrating three levels of experiences. What are they? The first one is the divine level, the second one is the human level, and the third one is pitched at the animal level. And these three levels are brought together, and the animate and the inanimate on a common plane. The two major issues of identity and the nature of reality are presented through a plot and a subplot which are intertwined and also become thought-provoking channels to explore. An intelligent use of motifs from traditional theatre, that is Yakshagana, a play within a play, dolls, masks, the irreverent inversion of mock heroic mores invites experimentation and also impresses upon the reader that it has a new perception of reality. The basic plot of Hayavadana revolves around the knotted relationship between the major characters of Padmini, Devadatta and Kapila, and explores how humans always hanker for more and are drawn towards flaws without caring about what they already possess. Karnad deals with the question of head and body with a different rationale. Interestingly, the main plot and the subplot of Hayavadana deals with the moral and the philosophical aspect of the problem, raising more important issues relating to the human experience. and existence. The play has various cultural implications which are relevant even today. Culture defines society, and Karnad's plays mirror the culture in our society. Focusing on our folk culture, he takes insights from mythology and folklore. With Hayavadana, Karnad has transported to the worlds of myths and legends of the Hindu religion. The readers experience great time while analyzing this great play. Act 1 of the play takes the readers to the city of Dharmapura. It begins with the introduction of two young men, namely Devadatta and Kapila, who are friends. Devadatta, the son of a pious Brahmin, is good at logic and love and has won the poetic hearts of the world with his poetry and wit, and is comely in appearance, fair in colour, unparalleled in his intelligence. His childhood friend Kapila, the son of a blacksmith, Lohita, is dark and plain but daring, and his physical strength is unrivaled. Though these two differ in intellectual prowess and physical stamina, they have one mind and one heart. When Devadatta craves for Padmini, the daughter of prominent merchant, it is Kapila who helps him to find out whereabouts of this girl and acts as a messenger to their love and marriage. Devadatta swore to sacrifice his head to Lord Rudra and his two arms to the goddess Kali in order to have Padmini as his wife. Even after their wedding, Devadatta's friendship with Kapila continues. The trio were an enviable group, that is Devadatta, Padmini and Kapila, to the admiring citizens of Dharmapura, and they were like Rama, Sita and Lakshmana. A great comparison by the playwright. Padmini's desire to have the intellect of Devadatta and the steel body of Kapila shows the moral degradation of the society. Kapila's lust and Padmini's material expectation depict modern man's craving for fulfillment. Devadatta's happiness was short-lived. Soon his suspicion about his wife's infidelity is confirmed on seeing his wife's admiration of Kapila's broad back with muscles rippling across it. Devadatta tries to postpone the journey to Ujjain as he doesn't like Kapila's presence. Since Padmini insists upon the trip, there is no other alternative for Devadatta. For Kapila, entire world has become wiped out without Devadatta and Padmini. No doubt, both Devadatta and Kapila are morally weak. Their suffering is due to their inability to find their identity in a triangle love relationship. Look at the depth of the analysis the writer has made. It's very relevant in today's world. And many families are being wiped out because of this confusion and chaos, a psychological chaos. Modern man is destined to suffer from a kind of estrangement and alienation. He alienates himself from fellow men and the society and confines himself in the self-created world of his own. Both Devadatta and Kapila suffer from self-alienation. They get disconnected from their self and try to search for their respective identities outside their self. Devadatta mentally separates himself from Padmini and Kapila and is unable to express his agony and pain with either Padmini or Kapila. The storm created within him was out to kill him. On seeing Kapila and Padmini going to Rudra temple together, Devadatta bids goodbye to them. Though he has promised his arms to Kali, that is goddess Kali, he offers his head to her. Kapila's inability to live his life without Devadatta has left him with no choice except to follow the footsteps of Devadatta, and Kapila implies her inner urge to have a man of Devadatta's intellect and Kapila's strong body. The quarrel between Devadatta and Kapila regarding the position of Padmini clearly depicts the fallibility of human life. Devadatta contends that according to the Shastras, the head is the sign of man. So, one who possesses the head of Devadatta is Devadatta. But Kapila's argument is that since she has married Devadatta's body with the holy fire as her witness, she belongs to him. The confused way of human beings search for perfection and completeness is well presented. Devadatta and Padmini return to Dharmapura, but Kapila prefers to stay in the forest. Now, Devadatta with Kapila's body has won people in the wrestling match, but this lasts only for little time. By applying sandal oil on his body, Devadatta's body softens and he gradually loses his virility. He follows the family tradition of daily reading and writing, a typical scholarly act. Kapila, who has a soft Brahmin body, finds it difficult to lift even an axe, but he has won at last after a war between his head and the body. Padmini's inability to accept human incompleteness and disharmony is the result of all the turmoil and chaos. Padmini realizes her folly and her attempt to be successful in the transposition of heads. Devadatta's body loses its muscle and strength and is transformed into a soft Brahmin body. This portrays the desirous minds of several modern liberated women who have the desire to love their husband for one thing and admire another man for a different thing, and thereby they make a mess of their lives. After sending Devadatta to Ujjain fair to buy new dolls for her son, Padmini comes to Kapila with her son. She reminds him the split between his head and body, which almost he forgets all these days. Kapila is troubled and disturbed by these memories and consider them as crazy dance of incompleteness. Kapila agonizingly narrates to Padmini the trouble he has undergone with Devadatta's body. Having known the infidelity of Padmini, Devadatta has come to the forest in search of her and Kapila. Though their fight and death appear to be melodramatic, that clearly indicates the irrationality and ludicrousness of life. Devadatta and Kapila decide to find the solution for their problem through death. It is an irony that Padmini performs sati, leaving her son to Bhagavata. Her son also suffers from identity crisis, and for him the issue of biological father is a complex one. Padmini symbolizes the incompleteness of human desire. She fails in getting reunification of the mind and the body in Devadatta and Kapila. Her search does not stop with her own self. She wants to fulfill her desires and wants to experience completeness through her child. Therefore, she requests the Bhagavata that her son should be brought up as the son of Kapila by the hunters in the forest for 5 years, and then as the son of Devadatta he should be handed over to her father-in-law Vidyasagara. He was also a revered Brahmin. Thus, he wants to equip her son with both physical and mental training so that he may attain perfection in life. Hayavadana, the son of princess and a white stallion, has suffered from the problem of identity. Hayavadana's mother, the princess of Karnataka, chooses a white stallion and not the prince of Arab as her husband. Hayavadana has a man's body but a horse's head. Hayavadana is uncomfortable and restless and abhors his horse head. He wants to be like a normal man and prays to Kali for a complete body. She makes him complete horse instead of a complete man. Though he looks complete externally, he is incomplete from within and retains his animal voice. Hayavadana suffers without any fault of his own. We as humans fail to understand that completeness is a humanly impossible ideal, as suggested first in the story of Hayavadana and later in the transposition of head. Despite this awareness, the expectations of humans become high and humans suffer from mental agony. Padmini's son lacks natural child's joy and laughter, fails to communicate with the immediate world and is strangely attached to the dolls. This boy becomes normal and starts communicating only on seeing the laughing horse Hayavadana. After listening to the tragic song of this boy, Hayavadana also attains completeness by getting the horse voice, that is, neighing. The completeness which is not possible with human beings is attained by the horse Hayavadana. That is why this character is considered as complete when compared to other characters of the play. The intricate levels of the play are presented at two levels. Hayavadana's story forms the first level and this becomes the exterior plot. Hayavadana, a man with a horse head, is trying to search for completeness by fully emerging as a man. Hayavadana thereby becomes symbolic of fragmented society and the modern society is ailing from the same. Karnad tries to explain existentialism by emphasizing on the motive of incompleteness. He uses symbols like a broken tusk and a cracked belly, which are the embodiment of imperfection or incompletion. On the second level, which is the primary plot, is that of two friends, Kapila and Devadatta, who dreams pessimistically about Padmini. Karnad also depicts the caste restrictions that one has and how one is confined to the so-called caste occupations. Devadatta is a learned Brahmin writing poetry and is physically unfit, whereas Kapila, a Kshatriya, is a wrestler and is physically stronger than Devadatta. Although Kapila is attracted to Padmini, when he meets her, he nonetheless arranges the marriage between Devadatta and Padmini. The plot eventually thickens too when Padmini is infatuated with Kapila's physical strength and that she finds lacking in her husband Devadatta. The existentialist crisis occurs when Devadatta and Kapila's heads are transposed to each other's body. This forces Kapila to stay in the forest as he finds it difficult to fight the problem logically. The characters of the play are equally interesting. We come across different personalities who depict different characteristic features. The first important character is Bhagavata. He is a mediator who dons many roles in the play, from being the key to the play and a detached observer to the confidant of heroine. That is Padmini. The speeches of Bhagavata reverberate with image, making that initially built upon the stage of Hayavadana. These speeches invoke a representational mode of projecting female body as an object of sex. The second important character of the play is Padmini. She is the key figure in the play. Selfishness and sensuality find expression in her unquenchable desire for both brain and brawn, which are symbolized by Devadatta and Kapila respectively. Married to Devadatta, Padmini craves for the muscle and body of Kapila. It is difficult to portend whether or not she would have behaved differently had there been a proper equation of physical strength and intellect in either Devadatta or Kapila. The happenings in the Kali temple, where she transposes the heads of Devadatta and Kapila, reveals her subconscious desire. Padmini's free-floating, volitional and volatile consciousness demands a perfect man for herself. Kapila, another interesting character and a great friend of Devadatta and a son of ironsmith Lohita, is dark and plain to look at, yet in deeds which require drive and daring, in dancing, in strength and in physical skills, he has no equals. His physical features and traits of the personality mark off his social identity and inferior position in the society. The next character is Devadatta, Padmini's husband. Devadatta is the only son of the revered Brahmin Vidyasagara. He has comely appearance, fair colour, unrivalled in intelligence, and has defeated the great scholars of the kingdom in debates on logic and love. He has blinded the greatest poets of the world with his poetry and wit. He is the most revered one in Dharmapura. Hayavadana is the protagonist of the play. Horsehead appears to symbolize plain common sense, and with blessings of Kali, he attains the body of a horse. By a strange coincidence, he meets Padmini's son at the end of the play. It is during his amusing meeting with the little boy that protagonist loses his voice and starts neighing. The completeness of a horse is attained and irony is revealed through the play successfully. There are some inanimate objects in the play which also add glamour to this whole play. They are dolls. Very interesting. With his new body, Devadatta returns to the city with Padmini and they begin a blissful marital life. At this point, Karnad uses a strange theatrical device in the form of two dolls that Devadatta presents to Padmini as gifts for the expected child. The dolls describe the vibrant changes occurring in the family in the form of an exchange of dialogues. They document the change of Devadatta's body from its rough muscular Kapila nature to a soft pot-bellied Brahmin body. They reveal that Padmini has given birth to a disfigured son and that she has now begun dreaming about Kapila again. The dolls also become the theatrical devices through which Padmini sends Devadatta to Ujjain, so she can use his absence to sneak away with the child to the forest where Kapila resides. Devadatta, armed with a sword, and the two new dolls finds the lovers, and the two men decide to kill each other since their love for Padmini cannot be reconciled. Padmini then decides to commit sati. Goddess Kali, the embodiment of female energy of the primordial time, also plays a vital role. She is also goddess of darkness, and her passivity in the play challenges the popular myths as the sanctity of her conventional representations and is exposed to ironic earnest. Kali may also be seen as signifying Mother India, with Kapila, Padmini and Devadatta deriving their identities from her. Kali's temple is significant as the place where the process begins. When the three characters reach the temple in the midst of a dark and dense forest, they have left their previous selves behind. However, the identities so derived are tangled in dualities. Now, let us conclude by trying to understand a strong message given by the playwright or the writer Karnad to the present generations and the past generations to understand that never violate nature. And we will also try to learn more about interesting elements of this play in the next module. Thank you.